The sterling silver fork clinked against fine bone china as my stepmother Victoria set down her utensil, her perfectly manicured nails drumming against the mahogany dining table. Honestly, Alexandra, running a tech startup at your age? You'll never amount to anything pursuing these childish dreams. I sat quietly in my usual spot at the far end of the table, the same place I'd been relegated to since she married my father 3 years ago. The weekly family dinner was her idea, a way to maintain appearances, while she systematically dismantled what remained of my relationship with my father. Victoria's right, sweetheart, my father sighed, not even looking up from his phone. Sterling Industries is a Fortune 500 company. We have a position waiting for you in middle management. It's time to stop playing entrepreneur. If they only knew that my childish tech startup Phoenix Digital had just developed an artificial intelligence algorithm that would revolutionize the financial industry. The same algorithm that Sterling Industries desperately needed, though they didn't know it yet. I'm doing fine, Dad, I said softly, watching Victoria's expression sour at my defiance. Fine. Victoria's laugh was sharp as cut glass. Your little coding project barely pays the rent on that shabby office space. Meanwhile, Sterling Industries just closed another billion-dollar deal. I suppressed a smile, thinking about the encrypted email I'd received that morning. Sterling Industries' billion-dollar deal was actually hemorrhaging money, and their stock was quietly being shorted by major hedge funds. But Victoria was too busy planning her next charity gala to notice the warning signs. Alexandra, Victoria leaned forward, her diamonds catching the light, you're 28. It's time to accept reality. Not everyone is cut out for success. Some people are just disappointing. My phone buzzed discreetly. A message from my COO. Final test successful. Algorithm performing beyond expectations. Major banks already expressing interest. Speaking of success, my father finally looked up. Sterling Industries is hosting a board meeting tomorrow. Victoria's announcing some exciting new technological initiatives. I raised an eyebrow. New tech initiatives? I wasn't aware Sterling was innovating in that space. Victoria's smile turned cold. Just because you play with computers doesn't mean you understand real business technology. Sterling Industries has been developing proprietary trading algorithms for months. What she didn't know was that their proprietary algorithms were fundamentally flawed. My team had discovered the vulnerabilities weeks ago. It was only a matter of time before the market did too. Of course, I murmured, taking a sip of water. How's the Morrison account doing? A flicker of uncertainty crossed Victoria's face before she could hide it. The Morrison account, Sterling Industries' largest client, had been showing signs of dissatisfaction. Their trading patterns had become erratic, and rumors suggested they were looking for more innovative solutions. The Morrisons are perfectly happy, Victoria snapped. Not that it's any of your concern. My phone buzzed again. Another message, Morrison Group requesting private meeting tomorrow. They've seen the preliminary results. You know, my father said, attempting to bridge the growing tension, Victoria has done amazing things with Sterling Industries since taking over as CEO. The board considers her a visionary leader. I thought about the board meeting I'd attended last week. Not as Alexandra Sterling, the disappointing stepdaughter, but as AJ Phoenix, the mysterious founder of Phoenix Digital. The board members had been desperately seeking solutions to their mounting technological problems, unaware that their CEO's stepdaughter had already solved them. A visionary leader, I repeated quietly. How fascinating. Victoria's eyes narrowed at my tone. Some of us work for our success, Alexandra. We don't just hide behind computers and dream about making it big. You're right, I agreed, standing up. Some people work for their success. Others just marry into it. The silence that followed was deafening. My father's fork clattered against his plate. How dare you, Victoria hissed. I built Sterling Industries into what it is today. Did you? I picked up my bag, a subtle Hermes piece that cost more than Victoria's flashy jewelry. Or did you just ride the wave of my mother's innovations until they ran out? My mother had founded Sterling Industries 20 years ago, before her death made my father the majority shareholder. He'd married Victoria 5 years later, and she'd quickly maneuvered herself into the CEO position. That's enough, my father started, but I was already heading for the door. Enjoy your board meeting tomorrow, I called over my shoulder. I have a feeling it will be quite enlightening. As I walked to my car, an understated Tesla that Victoria had mocked as economical, my phone lit up with urgent messages. The Morrison Group had officially scheduled their meeting. Sterling Industries stock was showing early signs of volatility, and my algorithm had just flagged a major weakness in Victoria's precious trading platform. Tomorrow they would learn that success doesn't always announce itself with diamonds and charity galas. Sometimes it codes quietly in a shabby office, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal its true value. And I had a feeling that moment was coming sooner than Victoria could possibly imagine. Looking back at the mansion's glowing windows, I thought about how quickly things could change. Victoria's words echoed in my mind, "You'll never amount to anything." I smiled, starting my car. By this time tomorrow she'd learn exactly what I amounted to. And it would be worth far more than anything Sterling Industries had ever seen. The morning sun glinted off the Sterling Industries tower as I parked my Tesla in my usual spot. Not in the executive garage where Victoria showcased her Bentley, but in the common parking area she'd insisted I use. Perfect for maintaining my cover as the disappointing stepdaughter. "Miss Phoenix," my executive assistant Jack's voice came through my earpiece. "The Morrison Group is in your private office at Phoenix Digital. And Sterling Industries stock just dropped 3% in pre-market trading." I smiled, adjusting my deliberately understated blazer. "Has Victoria arrived at Sterling yet?" "Yes, and she's already called 3 emergency meetings. Their trading algorithm failed spectacularly during the Asian market opening." Walking through Sterling's lobby, I watched the employees scramble like ants, their faces tense with worry. The stock ticker above the reception desk showed another dip in Sterling's share price. "Alexandra." Victoria's voice cut through the chaos. She was standing by the elevators, her designer suit and perfect makeup failing to hide her agitation. "What are you doing here?" "Just dropping off some resumes," I replied mildly. "Since you're so concerned about my career prospects." Her laugh was brittle. "We're a bit busy for your games today. Some minor technical issues to resolve." Minor technical issues. If she only knew that Sterling's entire trading platform was about to collapse, its fundamental flaws exposed by my algorithm's latest test run. "Of course," I murmured. "Good luck with the board meeting." My phone buzzed, a message from the Morrison Group. "Ready to proceed with Phoenix Digital Partnership. Sterling Industries technology no longer meets our needs." Victoria's own phone rang and I watched her face pale as she answered it. Even from a distance I could hear the panic in her lawyer's voice. "Miss Sterling, the Morrison account. They're threatening to leave. And the trading platform, it's completely frozen." I stepped into the elevator, hiding my smile as Victoria's perfectly controlled facade began to crack. By the time I reached Phoenix Digital's offices, housed in what Victoria had dismissed as a second-rate building, Sterling stock had dropped another 5%. "They're here," Jack greeted me at the door. "And they've brought their lawyers." The Morrison Group's executive team rose as I entered my office. Their lead partner, Thomas Morrison, extended his hand. "Miss Phoenix, we're ready to move forward. Sterling Industries technology is obsolete, and their recent failures have confirmed our decision." I nodded, thinking about Victoria's smug dismissal of my coding project at dinner last night. "Our algorithm is ready for implementation. Shall we discuss terms?" As we negotiated, my screens showed Sterling Industries' continuing descent into chaos. Their trading platform had completely failed, leaving billions in transactions frozen. The board had called an emergency session. "Miss Phoenix," Jack interrupted 2 hours later. "Sterling Industries' legal team is trying to reach you. Apparently, they've discovered that Phoenix Digital holds several key patents they've been inadvertently infringing on." Thomas Morrison raised an eyebrow. "Patents they've been infringing? That sounds serious." "Very serious," I agreed, watching Sterling's stock price plummet further. "And expensive." My phone lit up with Victoria's number. I let it go to voicemail, imagining her fury when she discovered that her disappointing stepdaughter controlled the technology that could save or destroy Sterling Industries. "One more thing," Thomas added as we finalized our partnership. "We're withdrawing all our accounts from Sterling Industries. Effective immediately." I smiled, thinking of Victoria's face when she learned that her largest client was partnering with her stepdaughter's little coding project. Miss Phoenix, Jack appeared again. Sterling Industries board has called. They're requesting an urgent meeting with Phoenix Digital's CEO. They've discovered our algorithm could save their platform. How interesting, I murmured. Tell them I'm available, at their convenience. As the Morrison Group left, I watched Sterling's stock hit a 5-year low. Victoria's visionary leadership was crumbling in real time, and her only salvation lay in the hands of the stepdaughter she'd dismissed at dinner just hours ago. My phone buzzed again, this time with a text from my father. Alexandra, please. Victoria says you might be able to help. Whatever the cost, we'll pay it. I leaned back in my chair, remembering all the family dinners where they'd belittled my dreams, all the times they'd dismissed my potential. Jack, I called out. Schedule the Sterling Industries board meeting for 3 p.m. In their building, their boardroom. Their boardroom, he questioned. Not our offices? I smiled, standing to adjust my blazer. No. I want Victoria to be on her home turf when she learns exactly what her disappointing stepdaughter has been building all these years. The next hour would change everything. And I had a feeling Victoria's definition of success was about to get a major update. Standing at my window watching the chaos unfold in the Sterling Tower across the street, I thought about how quickly fortunes could change. Sometimes the biggest disappointments hide the greatest successes. And Victoria was about to learn that lesson the hard way. At precisely 3 p.m., I walked into Sterling Industries' boardroom, where chaos had replaced the usual corporate decorum. Board members huddled in corners, whispering urgently. Victoria sat at the head of the table, her perfect posture betraying the tension in her shoulders. My father slumped beside her, looking years older than he had at dinner last night. Alexandra, Victoria's voice cracked slightly. What are you doing here? We're waiting for the CEO of Phoenix Digital. I set my laptop down at the opposite end of the table. You're looking at her. The room fell silent. Victoria's perfectly manicured hand froze around her water glass. That's impossible, she whispered. Is it? I opened my laptop, connecting it to the room's display screens. Like my little coding project was impossible? Or how I'd never amount to anything. The screens came to life, displaying Phoenix Digital's proprietary algorithm, the same one that had exposed the fatal flaws in Sterling's trading platform. Behind me, the stock ticker showed Sterling shares down 40% for the day. You. Victoria stood abruptly. You did this. You crashed our system. No, I corrected her calmly. Your outdated technology crashed your system. I simply developed something better. Something you could have had months ago if you'd bothered to look past your own prejudices. My father finally found his voice. Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us? Tell you what? That while Victoria was mocking my career choices, I was building a company worth 3 times Sterling's current market value? That every time you dismissed my childish dreams, I was signing contracts with your biggest competitors. I pulled up more data on the screens, Phoenix Digital's client list, patent portfolio and market valuation. The board members' eyes widened as they saw the numbers. The Morrison account, Victoria said weakly. Signed with Phoenix Digital this morning, I confirmed. Along with 6 other major Sterling clients who recognize that the future of financial technology doesn't lie in outdated systems run by outdated thinking. The boardroom doors burst open as Victoria's lawyers rushed in. Miss Sterling, the patent infringement claims, they're valid. Phoenix Digital owns the core technology we've been using. We're looking at billions in potential liability. Victoria sank back into her chair, her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. What do you want? Want? I smiled, thinking of all the family dinners where I'd endured her condescension. I want you to understand something, Victoria. Success isn't about wearing the right clothes or attending the right parties. It's about vision, innovation, and the courage to pursue your dreams even when people tell you you'll never amount to anything. I stood, addressing the board directly. Phoenix Digital is prepared to offer Sterling Industries a lifeline. We'll license our technology, settle the patent claims, and help stabilize your platform. In exchange, we want controlling interest in the company. Controlling interest? Victoria's voice rose. You can't. Actually, I can, I cut her off. Your stock price has fallen so far that buying a controlling stake would cost less than what you spend on charity galas in a year. The only question is whether you want to salvage something from this disaster or watch Sterling Industries collapse completely. The board members were already nodding, seeing the inevitable. My father stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. And Victoria's position? One board member asked quietly. She can stay on as a consultant, I said generously. I'm sure her expertise in real business will be valuable somewhere in the organization. Perhaps in middle management. The irony wasn't lost on anyone in the room. Victoria's face flushed as her own words from countless family dinners were thrown back at her. The papers are ready, I continued, nodding to my lawyers who entered with documents. I suggest you sign quickly. Your stock price drops another percentage point every minute we delay. As the board members rushed to review the agreements, Victoria finally met my eyes. How long? She asked. How long have you been planning this? Planning? I laughed softly. Victoria, I didn't plan your downfall. You did that yourself with every dismissive comment, every condescending smile, every time you underestimated what I could become. I just built something better while you were busy being disappointed in me. The next hour was a blur of signatures and legal terms. When it was done, Phoenix Digital owned 51% of Sterling Industries, and Victoria's visionary leadership had been reduced to an advisory role. Oh, and one more thing, I added as the board filed out. Family dinner this Sunday? I think it's my turn to host. We can discuss the new direction of the company over dessert. As I left the boardroom, I heard Victoria's muffled sob behind me. But I wasn't finished yet. The real work of transforming Sterling Industries was just beginning, and I had plans that went far beyond mere revenge. The next day's headlines told the story. Phoenix rises. Tech startup acquires Sterling Industries in surprise takeover. Sterling Industries' new CEO, the stepdaughter they underestimated. From disappointing to dominant. The Alexandra Sterling story. But my favorite was the small note in the business section. Sterling Industries announces new middle management position. Former CEO to focus on real business training. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's exceeding every limitation they tried to place on you. And sometimes, just sometimes, success is the sweetest response to disappointment.